Okay, so let's get started. Honey bees. I just finished this meeting with Kevin alongside my gen mate. I was literally shaking and putting my feelings out there. I was about to cry. We found out that none of our merch sold, that we sacrificed hours with tight deadlines to make work. I'm so heartbroken. We trusted him because of him, all our efforts in Luminara. How the hell is the Vtuber community ever going to recover trust companies now? Oh, so this person used to be an artist for Luminara. And yeah, none of the merch that they did sold. I mean, it's not surprising. Ilara tweets, I don't want my experience to take away from anyone else, but I'm just sad. I work with Kevin a lot during VTuber Rivals, and he would reach out from time to time to advise on various things with Luminara. I thought he was trustworthy. I just hate being lied to. Hi, I'm Tifamin. I was a volunteer that helped to run Luminara's booth at MomoCon 2026 from Friday to May 22nd through Sunday, May 24th. It really does feel like this guy was using his own money, some investors' money, right? They did get a little bit, but I feel like his con was that he would rotate employees fast enough, like as soon as they would start knowing a little bit too much about how he ran things, he would rotate them to somebody else, and then he would use past experience of past people to name drop them. And since no one really spoke to each other, he got away with it, I suppose. On December 26, 2025, Cameron reached out to me after I replied to a post where he was asking to connect with people interested in 3D VTuber concerts. He mentioned he saw my audition and wanted to talk to me. We had a meeting on January 6, 2026, where he talked about his interest in changing Luminara into a VTuber agency, a debuting talent completely owned by them instead of only working on VTuber related events. He said he was talking with an artist, Alex, that wanted to provide free models for portfolio purposes. Cam was concerned about my low social media numbers and compared me to his company and staff accounts. I asked out about a trial period and contract and was reassured that these would be done. I joined a. Why do you need a high social media number if you're gonna be staff? I joined a staff server on January 11th for another meeting. In that VC, it seemed like priorities changed, and he was showing me his original music that he wanted me to contribute to and get distributed. He also wanted me to be in some agreement where I would repay the cost of the model with a revenue cut. He said it was interesting how you are protective of your IP when there is not much to protect right now. What? I guess this person wanted to be a talent. On January 30th, I was asked with urgency to join Valentine's Day's concert project as an audio engineer. I was very confused why my role was changing, and I met with Cam on Feb 3rd. He said that his audio work would be factored into repaying for a 2D model by Alex. I reiterated that I wanted things in writing, and Cam said that it would take some time to get it done, meaning it's never gonna get done. It was soon after that I gave up on being known as a talent myself, and I put my head down to just work on music content for myself and at least network with the other staff at the company. During the next months leading up to MomoCon, I was trying to help develop an audio service similar to VForge's group. He interrupted my work VCs to show his personal music or vent about personal issues when I didn't even know him that well. He also asked me to record vocals for his own personal music project called My Vocals Too Perfect and joked that I would be his industry plant. During these personal conversations, he invited me to MomoCon so that we could fight our depression together. I was told I would need to fund the flight lodging myself. I was on the fence, but I eventually made plans to go with my partner, which I told Cam and he was fine with. I mainly wanted to network and see more of the VTubing industry. I like planning and structures, so I kept asking about badges, dress code, lodging, etc., which he dodged. Leading up to the con, I joined the event server for the booth and meet and greet and volunteered myself to help because I was technically a volunteer staff without a contract. I've had experience with running booths at major universities, so I was confident that I could at least help under the others that have run the booth before. It's crazy how many people he's got helping him and working for free. I should make these posts like he does, you know? Are you interested in VTuber drama? Join the team. Become my personal slave. Upon first meeting Cam in person on the night of Thursday, May 21 at round 1, and throughout our trip together in his car inside the con, he made positive comments about his personality and how he was improved himself due to various situations in the past. He was also making rude comments about me. Tifa doesn't fuck with us anymore. She doesn't play Fortnite with me anymore. And other people staffing the booth. Isn't this the con that he was banned at? So I guess this con, the MomoCon one, is the one that made everybody start calling him out, right? Yeah, do you like horses? Join our team! I understood that Cam being in a higher role needed to check in with how the booth was going while he could not attend, but I did not appreciate him saying things about the staff when he had no idea how hard they were working to keep the meet and greet running and talk to the talents themselves when the booth was empty. I tried not to speak negatively at the booth and put on a general professional vibe to ensure the meet and greets went well, yet I started to get a sinking feeling that people were staring at me because I was wearing the company jacket, filming our booth disproportionately to other booths, and staff was checking in with us when I didn't actually know what uniform the staff was supposed to have. Our staff chat wanted Cam to stay safe, yet he showed up to stay at our booth on Saturday anyways. Before this, Cam claimed staff advised him not to be at our booth. I saw a message that he got escorted away by staff while I was in the Hickory Vtuber Plaza stage and focused on a different panel at the time. I expressed that this situation was disrespectful, and I told others that I did not appreciate how he brought that negative image onto the staff and virtual talents present in the situation. I tried to keep us out of trouble, but it seemed like he invited it and tried to bring us down with him. At the very least, he is unprofessional. It made me feel helpless. I have more negative points I will keep from sharing at this time. Despite all these negative experiences, I had a great time meeting the other staff and talking with some of the talents at the meet and greet setup. I'm not very well connected with VTubers since I transitioned from being a Utaite to a V singer only recently. I wasn't really involved with the talents or staff outside of the audio team outside of the Valentine's Day concert and MomoCon. I'm just a small speck that wanted to share my voice and volunteer on big projects to help grow the VTuber industry. I didn't enjoy the attention at the booth, and I don't enjoy people following me just to hear my experience with Cam and MomoCon. I would rather be known for my skills in music, project management, and interprofessional communication. Sorry, I was unable to do more. I know that at one point it kind of changed into why did nobody say something? So this is Sin. After everyone sharing their experience, I feel a lot more comfortable with sharing mine. Thank you again to my friend who have supported me and helped me. Disclaimer for verbal abuse, mental abuse, sexual coercion. Cameron and I were friends from November 2022 to February 2025. During that time, he verbally abused me, mentally abused me, and coerced me. He used me to cheat on his relationship and manipulated me. It started in 2022 when we first became friends off of a tweet, and soon after became friends with benefits because he wanted to improve my life. It was consensual, but the longer we drove down that road, the more and more he would degrade me. He told me I was bad and he had to teach me how to be better. Told me I wasn't feminine enough and more of the like. I felt like all he wanted from was because I was a whole. Oh god. But when I brought it up to him, he started fighting with me and making me feel like we didn't have a relation, then there was a good chance our friendship would fall apart. When he started to express interest in some of our friends, and I voiced my uncomfortableness, he called me jealous and insecure. I had feelings for him at the time, and he knew about them. He would breadcrumb me and tell me that maybe there was a chance. Is this guy just an uber sociopath narcissist at this point? Like, he's just so insane. Allegations came out about him in our old community, and originally I defended him, but then I talked to some friends and they convinced me to share my true experience. After I posted that, he started guilt tripping me relentlessly, threatening to hurt himself. Ah, dude, not the S-bait. Because I was ruining his life. I cared about him at the time, and I worried about what he might do. I started to feel like maybe I was in the wrong, and I then had to label myself as a liar to defend him, which he then used against me for the rest of our friendship. I got cancelled with him for defending him. When we came into the VTuber community, he was my favorite person. BPT term for when someone with borderline becomes emotionally reliant on someone after a traumatic event. He used that against me more and more, controlling who I was allowed to talk to, who I was allowed to be with. If the past controversy was brought up, he made me make a doc and post it. And I had to tell everyone I was a liar so he could keep his story straight. Oh, so that's the person who made the doc defending him. He was effective, but now we know the story behind that and why she did that. He was effectively cutting me off from any sense of freedom by making them all believe I lied about him, as well as ensuring I would never talk about how he treated me. Anytime I showed interest in someone else, he would get angry with me, threatening to cut me off, threatening to leave everything, telling me he was considering dating me, but now I messed up over and over again, yanking the leash harder and harder to ensure he had full power over me. He escorts me into sleeping with him multiple times. If I didn't want to or showed any sort of reaction besides a hard yes, He would get angry with me and we would fight because I was scared of fighting. I complied. Not every S interaction we had was coerced, but enough where that I started to feel like that was all my worth was to him once again. When he was in a relationship, he would still come to me for S, for nudes, and when I would decline, he would get angry. It created a split in my mind where I knew that allowing it was awful because I was friends with his partners, but I couldn't say no out of fear of his reaction as I was still heavily emotionally dependent on him. Yo, that is crazy! And he was with somebody? It hit a breaking point where I told him that I was interested in someone and I intended to date them. He started yelling at me, giving me an ultimatum that it was them or me. Bro, you are in a relationship. What do you care? He's telling me if I choose that person that I would lose everything. Afraid after days of fighting, I told him I would choose him. I decided to date the person I was interested in privately. Next part of that. The next months had countless instances of him belittling me, coercion, telling me I was doing everything wrong for our events and they would fail if he didn't step in, yelling at me when I messed up, blaming me for ruining his life, working me to the bone on events that I didn't even get thanks for. After the first Vtuber rivals, I told him I dated my now ex, and he cut me off because I lied to him. Well, honestly, good riddance. Months later, he reached out to me to discuss what happened. I didn't trust him, but I wanted to believe he had gotten better. Press X to doubt. Agreed to meet up with him, where we didn't talk until I had slept with him once again. Yo, what the fuck is this? Still not fully healed and scared of his reaction, I complied. He badmouthed many of my friends, name dropped people he was trying to get into Luminara, and that was when he said the infamous line that he felt like I stole Yuva from him. I have heard many instances, not only through other sources, but firsthand, that he has been telling people that I'm a liar, I'm mentally unwell, sharing my mental health diagnosis with people, that I was trying to ruin Luminara, and still to this day shit talks me when I've done nothing but try to move forward on my own. I was scared for so long about speaking up because I knew the grasp he had on people, and I knew he had convinced the people around him that I was a serial liar, and I was afraid. I'm sorry I couldn't speak up sooner. I wish I had to protect the people who have been hurt, but I'm glad that now everybody knows the kind of person he is, and hopefully people will learn to be safer. This isn't everything, but this is all I can share in my capacity. He was mind controlling her. Oh wait, there's some replies between them. So then Liz responded, it's hard to not be irritated when I'm seeing my TL flooded by people with stories about how they knew the dude affecting our life/future was shitty but said nothing. I knew this would happen. I told you so. Did you? My inbox is pretty fucking empty of any warnings. I think this tweet sparked a bigger discussion. And Sin responded to that saying, I could never imagine myself saying I told you so to something like this. The first thing I felt was guilt because I had spoken up about how I was treated sooner. Things could have been possibly avoided. I'm wishing you and the other talent so much love. Liz responds, thank you. All of us are wrestling with guilt right now. How many people did we expose to him? How many people did we put in harm's way? I've also been contacted by people who apologize profusely for the same thing. At the end of the day, it's only one person's fault, his. People love to pull the card of the, if I was in this situation, it would be different. Like, yeah, bro, you're so much smarter than every other person. You definitely saw right through the shitty manipulation tactics. Like, weird you saw that and then did nothing. I mean, I guess I told you so helps no one in this situation. That is true. That's true. I mean, yeah, there is a... The internet has recently put up the bar for what is considered a perfect victim. So I also understand why a lot of people are reticent to come out. Nobody wants to be the whistleblower. Nobody wants to be the person who breaks the story. But everybody wants to be the person, you know, reacting on top of it. My experience with Rima Evenstar, yeah. Side note about coming out, a guy who walks up to their talent, pushes away his then significant other, raises so many red flags. Like, bro, why do you want to be in the spotlight so bad, Lamau? Sorry to all the people who had to work this guy. This is a clip from Zenstream?
Hi.
Hello there.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, I'm here to see Zen. I don't know if Zen can recognize me by voice.
Yo, what's up?
All right.
You sound familiar.
Do
Keep
I?
talking, keep talking.
All right, I'm talking.
We're closing our eyes.
We talk about analytics. We talk about numbers. We talk about views.
It's your YouTube editor. Isn't it?
Yes.
This is so fucking awkward.
Manager, same difference in a sense.
Ah,
Yes,
see? She
freaking
recognized
can.
you.
Hey Zen, wanted to say hi. You know, saw the line. I've been waiting here just to do a, cameo, one of the videos for once.
Heck yeah. Thanks for stopping by.
I
Lovely to
hope you're
meet
having
you.
a fun time.
It's been great, yeah. It's crazy seeing the stuff, seeing the Bishoujo stuff. I mean, it's fun.
Yeah, that's him. Did Rima catch that? Catch what? Did I miss it?
Hello.
Hi.
Hello there.
Nice to meet you.
Oh,
Hey.
this is the. Wait a minute.
Hello there.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, I'm here to see Zen. I don't know if Zen can recognize.
What? Yo, what the fuck? He is signaling her to shut up. But yo, that is so
Ew.
weird.
Hey, I'm here to see Zen. I don't know if Zen can recognize me by voice.
He's like also like in her space. That is so awkward. Is there something at the end too?
It's been great, yeah. It's crazy seeing the stuff, seeing the Bishoujo stuff. I mean, it's fun.
Okay, after he has his hands in his pockets, but I wanna...
Hello.
one more time. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. That gesture is so, brother. Ew. Like, silence, woman. This is my time to shine. I need to network right now. I need to become Centrea's manager. Move, bitch. Yeah, it's so subtle, but once you notice it, it's like, ugh, it gives me the shudders, man. It's his girlfriend. Yeah, that's his girlfriend, if it wasn't clear. No, the tweet said it's his significant other. That was his girlfriend at the time. But you have no respect for her. You got zero respect. I wonder if Matara caught that. I didn't catch it the first time I watched it, but maybe she's more, pays more attention than me. Ugh. Imagine doing that to somebody. She's so arrogant. Yeah, super rude. He really wanted to see Zen. He's like foaming at the mouth. He's almost drooling. Okay, let's see that one. My experience with Kamina. I was the head project lead and sole builder of the Minecraft Maze Race event. I was told I was going to be leading a team of builders, but I would only have to build a few mazes and parkours, to which I asked for $200. The builders didn't have any experience in building nor creating fun and unique level designs, nor did they have any clue about plugins that Cam wanted to include. Neither did I, but I had to teach myself. I worked over 60 hours. I helped set up the server due to it having issues with World Edit, permissions, and plugins. I had to find and set up plugins for custom game mechanics. Don't touch the grass, jump pads, moving walls, moving platforms, etc. I did everything. When I was done, he said he needed more variations the day before the second and third batch of contestants, and I didn't have the energy nor the time to do it for free. So instead, they took on other builders to do it, and they took the credit for the builds and made my existing work look horrible. No! During a voice call regarding future work and content opportunities, I was also promised a spot on his exclusive show with several big VTubers like Fruit and Zan. Of course, he name dropped them. And that I would be able to lead the Minecraft projects from then on. I tried asking time and time again about this, but he ignored my DM, so I gave up. He also kicked my manager out of his content creation team and the Luminara server for no reason. Fucking weirdo. This experience was one of the worst one I've had during my 7 years of content creation professional Minecraft building. You know what, guys? Like, took me a while to learn to say no, but I'm telling you, this is the strongest word in the vocabulary. Use it more often. No. It's a powerful word. Just going to share my interaction with him since I was also curious about where the funding was coming from. There's always a Minecraft SMP in the middle of it. Always. They used to be really popular at a time. I remember seeing a small line of people around Cam all talking about how they would love to sign with the agency, and he would sit there listening to everyone pitch themselves and explain why they wanted to join while watching those conversations. You could tell there were some people he seemed completely uninterested in, while others received far more attention and engagement from him. Later on, I found out that he would add some of these people on Twitter only to unfollow them afterward if they didn't have big enough numbers or enough clout behind their accounts. I figured I would pitch myself too, partly for practice, but also to see what might come of it. Talked about my freelance experience, how I enjoy making cool project happen, and some of my real-life business experience. When I mentioned the business side of my experience, I remembered him looking me up and down for a second before suddenly seeming much more interested in the conversation. It's like his eyes lit up. After that, he continued talking about his experience with big-name VTubers and the agency connections he claimed he was bringing with him for the company, before eventually adding me so we could supposedly talk more about everything later. At one point during the convo, I started asking about how the company was generating revenue. He explained that there was supposedly a sister company of Ooh Market. Oh, okay, that's new. That was something we decided to throw in there last minute. He found that partnership like in the cracks of his couch last night. He just found it, and that was how they were funding everything and making the agency happen. To me, that was a major red flag, and immediately gave me an uneasy feeling. Even so, we still added each other on Discord after he offered to chat more about staff onboarding. I couldn't think too much about it at the time, though, since I had to get back in line for a concert. Later, I started looking into the company more and more, moving forward with anything because something about the situation did not sit right with me. Later that night, while I was dropping one of my friends off at the airport, I brought up the conversation with Cam and was urgently warned not to continue talking with him or follow through with anything. So they were warned. Throughout the weekend, I heard multiple stories about him trying to sneak into parties while claiming to be VIP. Wait, I do that. That's the oldest trick in the book. While also being disrespected towards many of the event staff members. At one of the parties he was trying to get into, I was told he was extremely drunk and rude to the people working at the event. Don't tell me it's the mixer again. That darn mixer he's obsessed with. On top of that, he was apparently bad-mouthing several talent agencies in an attempt to steal their talents. That doesn't even surprise me. He is gross! And he's rude to staff. Yeah, you do it like a heist. Check the list. I'm on it. Surely you just missed my name, and then while you point the finger down, you like switch a few invitations around and you slip your name in there. No, but it's funny because for him, that mixer and getting in those parties, it's not like he's going there for fun. You know why he's going there, because he's like drooling at the mouth. He's like, I'm gonna make all of these VTuber connections. Everything he does has a reason behind it. Like a calculated reason. That's just weird. Liz is canceling her appearance at Dokomi. Apparently he also dogs people because Kamina dogs people because they sent the wrong person's contract to other talents. Is he stupid? He was bragging to random people at the booth about her choking him. When I found out about it, I said she should have choked him harder. Was this in Ilara's chat? We found out afterwards that he would shit talk all of his talents to the other talents and anyone who would listen. Some Mountain Dew tactic. Also transphobia, death threats, and dogs just to add to the terrible list. Apollo, my brother brought the standees because we were told that they would go to the talents and they never did. He spent $500 plus for them? The cops did get involved and he was charged with trespassing 2 times and stealing the con's money too. Okay, this one's short. My name is Bellhead Ninja, aka David. Been friends with Kana for 3.5 years. Early day at this time started working with a new project to make large esports tournaments under the name of Empyrean, a subsidiary of Global Breakout, now Quillborn. We managed to do 1 tournament before things started coming to light about his behavior. Not gonna go into detail. We had stopped talking about these initial controversies. However, I started reaching back out in July 2023, around the time that Nestor was closing down. Again, I took his side of the controversy and decided to encourage him to continue developing his projects. I informed him a lot on how the state of public opinion was on Twitter, especially among our old shared community, and this is how I became involved with the very beginning of Sukuria. In this doc, there's only one. Vtuber Rivals. Vtuber Rivals happened in January 2025. A lot of people have participated in that one. I started developing a direction for Sukuria to have monthly charity events, seeing as we had started slowing down our progress in the months before. Cam took these ideas and let it blow up into VT Rivals. During this time, I used the services of many people to help develop the stream and publication aspect of the event. In my mind, I thought everyone was helping with their own passion as I was, or were going to be paid by Cam in some fashion. I did not know what agreements other people had with him concerning their involvement with the event. After VT Rival, I stopped doing events for a while. I was involved with the Maze Race event, the very early stages, but went into bad depressive episodes. Okay, additionally, weeks after VT Rival Cam and then Yuva, which we read her testimony, had started having a big rift in their relationship, so they put out one last statement concerning the drama from 2023 and then decided to separate. I have come to learn that a lot of the statement made in this one and previous ones have been lies made up to preserve his public image above all. Anime Matsuri, the next time I really did something with Cam was Anime Matsuri. It was a fun weekend, but things happened that made it significantly awkward. When the Flow concert happened at the venue, he was trying to have a good time with everyone, but not many people joined. I made a small attempt, but was completely out of my element. This made him upset. This made him rash. That night he got into an argument with Kazu, and between me and the other people at the B&B, we were worried about the relationship and for a bit whether or not the altercation would turn physical. I don't know what was exactly said between them. All I know is that it became serious, so we attempted to separate the two of them so that nothing bad would end up happening. Two of the roommates took Kazu, whilst I tried talking with Cam. This he didn't appreciate and eventually cut off everyone but me and Kazu for the rest of the trip. He would only hang out with us too. During this time we had a deep conversation about what we actually want in life, and where I once again tried to give him encouragement to focus on his goals in life. I wanted to see him succeed, yada yada. This weekend pretty much ended his friendship with many of the roommates and also was one of the reasons Sakura started really going under as Luminara was starting to rise. Luminara beginning, he started to help with Luminara, then joined in an official capacity. During this time, Cam was very telling the people in the organization that he won't simply give work to people, they have to ask for it. I became one of the people who ask for work on a regular basis. Other than the stream graphic thing mentioned, I was not majorly involved in the admin of the VT Rivals event. But was he paid? So Luminara downfall, this was all going fine till the end of Feb. That's when he and Kazu broke up, and the reason why I'm not exactly sure. That's when Luminara started going downhill. Without Kazu, who was really one of the main reasons Luminara was active and successful in the first place, no one had any freedom to do anything with their work. I was unable to get any new projects started, even after Cam started hiring more people to pick up the slack. I like that they're saying hiring more people, but no one was getting paid really. Everybody was just getting swindled. You know, I was actually planning on going to Momocon. The thing is, the planning for a lot of it, at least when they started involving me, was within 6 weeks of the event. Therefore, I was unable to make way for me to get there. And man, I'm glad I didn't go. First, Luminara was banned from the event. Then I was knocked down and he was banned from the event. It was knocked down and he was banned from the event. The last thing I had from the... Okay. Final convo. I wanted to give Cam one last chance to tell the truth about things. I asked about his flirting habits and he denied they were widespread. Asked about why he broke up with Kazu and he wanted to keep it private. Then I asked about the original stuff in 2023, which he told me his repeated lie I knew was false. This was the last straw and I left the org immediately. Okay, we were friends, close even, but we rarely talked about things. The only time we would talk was when we were working for an event or some drama was coming up. Additionally, he would never talk to me about things I was not really involved in. For example, I was not involved in a new cloud drama, and every time I would ask about it, I would not get a clear picture as to what was going on. Another thing is that he painted one of the people in the situation as someone I could not see him being. Again, I really don't understand what happened with that concert. There was also times when he would remove people and I'd ask him why, and he would usually say one or three things. They decided to move on and work on other things. They were annoying. Okay. So then he does an apology. This is somebody who was apparently staff, lie, untrustworthy, hurt relationship with people. He has also never gotten paid for professional work with him. Felt used and betrayed. There's an anger in me I cannot explain. A lot of people have been hurt by him and his repeated malicious behavior. I want to show support to anyone who's been affected by him. This is somebody who... Oh, this is Kazu! This is Kazu that dated him, that was just mentioned in the other Google Doc. Well, maybe she'll tell us why they broke up now. Also, 2 million plus view YouTube partner. I didn't live with Kamina for 2 years. I broke up with him in February of 2026 due to mistreatment, so I have no affiliation with Luminara. My heart goes out to everyone affected, hurt, and manipulated. I'm just as guilty of being used by this man or not to blame. One of my biggest regrets is that I didn't leave him sooner. I was so persuaded by the promise that he would be a better person, a better boyfriend, that I stayed waiting for 2 years. Is he the one that he like pushed aside in the video that we watched? Despite what he has told others, I broke up with him because of mistreatment, not because of Luminara, not because I was mentally ill. It was her from the video. Oh my god. Because of these claims, it was hard for me to come forward without being seen as a jealous ex. Within first dating him, I was quickly pressured into moving in with him and quitting my job, making him my sole financial stability. I felt like I could trust him. Imagine having him as your sole financial stability. You are fucked. He helped me build my career as a streamer and gave me the direction I needed to monetize myself. I got fancy dinners and plane tickets. He told me I could have my dream job if I was with him, but it wasn't long after that if I prioritized my dream over his own, it was a fight. Everything was a fight, from me talking about relationship advice to not cheering him on while he played Fortnite, cleaning dirty bed sheets, telling him what made me uncomfortable or of not doing enough of his own work. Meanwhile, I didn't get greeted when he came home. He would shun me if I cried, and if I asked for help, I better hope he was in a good mood first. When fights got really bad, he would raise his arm back to strike at me. He never hurt me, but there were threats too. And he wasn't afraid to berate me in public VCs as well. Several times Luminara staff would DM me to ask if I was okay. I told them through tears that I probably deserved it. Jesus. What the fuck? When Luminara was created, I was a main player in a lot of the production while he worked his day job. I was expected to do favors for him. I didn't do it right away. I was letting him down and talents down. I would never make it anywhere. He convinced me so much that he was right, that I wasn't enough. I was the perfect victim for a narcissist like him because I wanted to prove my worth so badly. Looking at these stories that have come to light, I knew about them because Kamana would tell me before I could see or know any of it. But now I see he was trying to plant doubt in me this entire time when I did think he was in the wrong and voiced it to him. It was another fight and another threat to stop providing for me. Sometimes the only way to get him to consider me was for him to use my body. All the while he was already unfaithful. Right, because this other girl, Sin, told us that he was cheating on his partner with her. So we also know he was a cheater. Yesterday I saw evidence that he cheated on me within a year of our relationship. That's probably it. That's probably what she's referring to. After the breakup, it was so hard to trust people. He spread so many lies about me to keep people at a distance. No one would listen to me. So many of my friendships were ruined because of Kamina. So many people who I cared for, I pushed away because I needed to be Kamina's secretary, bookkeeper, graphic designer, delegator, cook, maid, therapist, slave, and then his girlfriend. A few months after the breakup, I was receiving word that Kamina was going to come to my residence and try to harm me. Nani? I didn't know if any of it was true, and I was assured by his family, bless their hearts, that it wasn't. I had Kamina blocked on everything but Discord because he promised to send my belongings to me, which he never did. After speaking to his family, we resumed communication, but mostly because I wanted verbal confirmation of the abuse he gave me. He apologized, told me he still loved me, and he wanted us to continue working together. I told him I don't trust him, but he seemed like he changed. And all of this shows how naive I was. Well, no wonder he didn't want to tell the other guy why they broke up. So she says here, everything is based on my personal experience and understanding of these events. Oh yes! At the start of Luminara, I had a phone call with Kamina. During that conversation, multiple people from this list were brought up. I remember offering my help and knowledge when it came to business because I genuinely wanted to help however I could, not just as a talent, but with management or anything they needed. Instead, most of the conversation turned into comparisons and flexing about the people and talent around him. He did use certain names as leverage to attract investors' attention and more people into Luminara, despite some of those people not even being associated with the group at the time. I was basically made to feel like I wasn't enough because I didn't have a partner yet, or because I posted workout content and it wasn't VTuber enough. Oh, this is the proof that he literally... Yo, he put Lulu's name in it? Raise Bubble, Poseidon, Mythos, Apollos, Mythos, Hades, Mythos. He's claiming he's working with all these people. Maruru, Sprickster, Lunaria, August Anomaly, Briette Cookie, Milky VT. Hey, that's my name. I shouldn't be in there. Yeah, Briette Cookie Box. I first started interacting with Kamina late December 2024. I originally wanted to help out with events. That's when I joined Sukuria. That was his previous company, where I worked on a few more events as well as clipping and editing shorts for a YouTube channel. After a while, we transitioned to Luminara around May 2025, and my roles constantly changed. First, I was event staff, then I did a company spreadsheet, then I was a clipper, editor, then back to event staff. Later in December 2025, I, as event staff, was heavily pushed into signing a contract by Kamina. He knew I wanted to step away from Luminara and being online at the time because my mother had just recently been diagnosed with cancer, and I wanted to give all my time to her. He knew I needed the money he owed me, which he still hasn't paid me, to pay her medical bills, which he used as leverage to force me into signing the contract, which meant I had to do even more work than before. And I did the work hoping I would see the money one day. After this, I distanced myself from him and didn't run public calls with him unless he reached out himself for private calls. That is disgusting behavior. That is dirty. Wow. Yo, that's gross. I chose to trust him at a time and he hurt me so deeply and broke my trust so much. He manipulated me, overworked me, made me feel like less than a grain of sand. Minimized all my accomplishments and struggles to the point I felt so worthless that I almost committed S-side back in March of this year because I genuinely believed I was nothing. All because of him. He divided me from the friends I made in Luminara, ruined so many of my friendship, and so squandered so many opportunities for me by either convincing me I wasn't good enough or by blocking them myself. He lied to me constantly and hid things from me even when I was doing everything to help him while he was struggling. I was no one and nothing to him until the only thing he had connecting him to his ex was me, and then I became his #1 bro. He would DM me and call me for hours to vent about how much of a perfect boyfriend he was to her, and every one of the things he said were lies. He used my kindness and manipulated me and so many others into defending him, and most importantly made me think he was my friend, even though he never really cared. He was just using me for his own goal. I'm not the same person I was before meeting him. I'm so deeply scarred that it'll take a long time to learn to fully trust again, to fully heal from all the damage he's done to me. At some point, I feel like I and others were enabling him to hurt even more people just by supporting him, and I feel so disgusted and icky for ever associating myself with him. I'm not even going to begin going over how he's hurt others. I'm sure they have already told their stories in details, or are currently working on them. I hope that he is able to find some peace outside of the internet, and I sincerely hope he changes as a person and doesn't hurt anyone else. I pray he repents for all the people he took advantage of, manipulated, and hurt, because there are others who've been hurt much more than me. And all the other people I met have been nothing but wonderful. This is one of the saddest Google Docs. I want to check the Miss Lala video.
Situation, but given the recent events that happened with Luminara, I figured it was time to talk about my experience, specifically with the CEO of Luminara, Cam. This is my personal experience with
Does she always have a 3D model? It looks so real.
Cam. This is not reflection of the talents that were working with Luminara or editors or artists or anything like that. I'm recounting simply my experience with him, which occurred during the summer of 2025. Cam, the CEO of Luminara, knowingly used my name to legitimize the company, falsely telling others, including investors, that I was assigned talent throughout the 2025 Off-Kai weekend. Prior to Off-Kai, we had one voice call to discuss me hosting a potential game show in which I asked for a contract. I want to give some context as to why the situation was particularly heartbreaking and frustrating for me. I'm so grateful for the wonderful opportunities in life VTubing has really afforded me. It's really inspired me to want to pursue bigger goals that I've been curious about as a person my entire life. One of those goals is that I would love to be an MC and do live work with crowds. You know, whether that's hosting an event at a convention, introducing creators.
Yeah, I love her accent. I don't know what it is, but I love the accent.
You know, moderating panels. I love speaking with people. I love making people laugh. And I've been trying to focus on that recently within my VTubing journey. So I actually reached out to Luminara first, interested in a proposal to host a game show, as they were looking for creators, specifically VTubers, to work with. Kamana and I had 2 meetings in total. One was a voice call in Discord, discussing the initial proposal of me being a host for a game show. And
oh, I know what it is. It's the accents that Italian mafia guys have in those movies. Makes me think of like Jersey in the 1920s. Yes, yes. Yeah, I guess it's New York.
And the second was an in-person meeting at Off-Kai, which I'll get into later. In our first call, Kamana introduced himself as an expert in editing, social media management, and particularly knowledge behind YouTube. He confidently expressed his ability to turn one's channel into a booming business and had worked with a lot of different creators, often highlighting that he did it for free and volunteered most of the time. He said he worked with a team of editors, and this was my first red flag that I initially ignored, because how are you supposed to build up a channel with a bunch of editors, but you're saying it's volunteers so the talent doesn't need to pay? Something wasn't adding up, because how are those editors being paid for their work? Where is
Wait, yeah, she's right. She's right.
flow of money coming from? And how is this business model sustainable? However, I was naive and eager at the opportunity to make the first step towards a long-time dream of mine. I was open to his business proposal about this game show and being the host of it, in which he was also looking at some other creators potentially to be a part of it. However, I've worked in the entertainment industry for a long time, and I really wanted my ducks in a row, so I wanted to see a contract. He did send over this contract, but I had concerns and notes and had expressed to him that I would like to go over these notes in person, and I was looking forward to seeing him at OFCAI, where we could discuss these notes in
What do you mean paid in exposure? The editors?
person. I was hoping to do this meeting privately, as we were going to be discussing the breakdown of this contract and the details within it. However, what I had assumed was going to be a private business meeting between myself, another VTuber colleague who was also potentially going to be involved, and him, it turned into a gathering of multiple people, including 2 other VTubers and 2 Luminara staff besides Kamana. This public environment was not appropriate in which to discuss the intricate details of my contract, as these other VTubers might have had different contract terms. When the meeting started, Kamana had teased that he had a gift for us. And it was at that time he slid a collectible trading card with the Luminara logo on it. And I flipped it around and it featured my logo and my artwork. Artwork that he had no permission to print from neither myself nor the artist for this promotional item for his company. It was at this meeting that I was simply told I was talent. I was very confused as I hadn't signed anything, and I simply was interested in potentially hosting a game show. Additionally, at this time, I was already in conversation with a separate agency to potentially sign with them. Cam was very good at making himself seem reputable. He boasted about being Zentrea's manager at the time, as well as the one who built her YouTube channel. He claimed his unusual management techniques had caused some tension between himself and certain VTuber agents.
Not gonna lie, I love the way she's narrating this. She's very well spoken and clear. I don't know. Is she reading a script? Like, she talks so good, man.
Because he, quote unquote, told it like it was and, quote unquote, did a better job than any of their managers. He claimed that he simply wanted to help and uplift others, taking nothing for himself. In our conversation, when I pressed,
I don't want to uplift anybody. I feel like if anybody, if you hear I want to uplift others, that's become the new red flag. So we gotta say the opposite. I don't want to uplift anybody. I want to downlift people.
To understand how the business functioned, what his 5-year roadmap was, examples of how a similar business model worked, out in the past for him, he did not provide examples and simply repeated the same script. Quote unquote, I just want to help people and I don't want anything out of this. I was very skeptical, and when I shared his answers to
So why did he respond to Armchair Post? He is running a charity, according to him.
My husband, my manager, and my then editor, who is a very close friend, they confirmed my suspicions. They also revealed that he, when speaking to them during my meet and greet at OFCAI, admitted to clout chasing. An example being he had VTubers at OFCAI sign a white poster board with plans to get meetings with them, lied about his involvement with certain VTuber companies, and generally was narcissistic and arrogant. Throughout the entirety of OFCAI, I kept on having people come up to me asking about Luminara, as they were told I was talent, that they were considering joining because I was signed, quote unquote.
Oh, God.
I attended the OFCAI industry mixer, and during the event, a VTuber manager...
Not the mixer again. Oh, my God. The mixer he was crashing out about because he wasn't invited.
From an agency shook my hand and said, congratulations for joining Luminara. And at the time, I was caught off guard and confused, not knowing how to respond. This rumor had spread so far and wide, and it was completely false. And it was out of my control. It was very frustrating, and so much of my energy at OFCAI last year was spent dispelling it in conversations. At one point, during a private party, a VTuber attendee came up to me as I was leaving, sobbing, begging me not to work with Luminara because of how callous Cam was. And I did not know this person. They had simply just heard the rumors of me being affiliated with the company. When I confronted Cam about his behavior, I expressed that I was not comfortable with the speed in which he was navigating the entire situation, especially with no signed contracts, in addition to his unprofessional behavior. He denied ever mentioning my name as a talent to other VTubers, which is verifiably false, and said he cannot, quote unquote, control rumors or what other people say. I still
Okay,
received
buddy.
inquiries and messages about my involvement with him and Luminara, as did my team members, which is what compelled me to publicly discuss me not being associated with Luminara, despite me being very uncomfortable
I don't remember if we discussed this tweet when it came out.
discussing my business publicly like this. After I shared these social media posts, I started to receive messages from many VTubers who wanted to know the full story because
Oh. I really think I didn't have to say anything more publicly about this, but my DMs are blowing up. So no, I did not make this decision based on information from one single source. No, I was never signed with them at any point and had only a couple of meetings. Yes, it was based on a multitude of factors and ultimately made the decision that was best for me and my business. I'm not signed with anyone at this point in time, and please, if you hear a rumor, please ask me directly about it. I truly am an open book, and if you haven't heard it from me, please take it with a grain of salt. Thank you. Oh, yes.
yes, they were told that I was becoming talent or that I had already signed, and they had questions, but they also specifically saw a lot of red flags with Kim. For several days after Off-Kai, I was on nonstop phone calls. It was exhausting, fighting for my reputation behind the scenes. I was also informed that Cam had stated that I was quote-unquote convinced not to sign or join Luminara by a specific VTuber friend of mine and used this person as an excuse as to why I had no interest in joining and used them as a scapegoat as to why I wanted nothing to do with Luminara. Not the fact that I very clearly told him and communicated that I was unimpressed with how he conducted himself throughout the weekend. It was after this experience that I started working with an entertainment lawyer for any and all contracts I receive in order to protect myself from this happening ever again. This was just my story. I was incredibly frustrated at being led on in terms of an opportunity, and not only that, having my reputation and my name used to trick and persuade people to join a company that clearly did not have a plan for long-term success, ultimately taking advantage of people's dreams and hopes and aspirations for their own journeys as VTubers. This experience came only a few months after finding out that I was rejected the final audition stages of a VTuber agency that I was really hoping to join. So the 1-2 punch was pretty devastating.
Which one is it? Place your bets. Is it Hololive?
To my self-esteem. It was around this time that I also was navigating an incredibly personal, difficult medical situation. So everything kind of compounded at the same time, which was incredibly frustrating.
Hi,
and
Necro.
heartbreaking.
Phase.
And made for a pretty rough summer in 2025. And my heart breaks for all the other stories I've been reading and hearing about. I'm so sorry if you've been affected by Cam. You deserve so much more.
My God. Oh my God, there's okay, nice. Ilara compiling a doc. 184 people have come forward so far. Have they been affected by his actions? Well, that's gonna be good for if I ever do a video on this. I mean, I don't see why Miss Lala would join an agency. She's doing fine as an indie. She had like a decent YouTube channel, and I'm pretty sure her main thing is Twitch. The thing is, like, her 40s look is like the entire appeal and branding, so it would suck if she lost that. But I think her voice, along with the 40s model style, really fits. Like, it really all works well together. Hey, you, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I'll see you in the next video.